Good afternoon, High 10 George Realty. Thank you for being here for our Lunch and Learn presented by Angie Tang. She's going to go she is going to go over the prospecting platform. So it'll be very beneficial for us all. So I am going to share screen and you'll see her work the platform on the computer. So just a moment, please. Okay, and then Angie, you're gonna sit here or?
Yeah.
Okay,
No, stand.
okay, I can do that for you.
Oh, I did it.
Oh, okay,
I just wanted to open the box so I could do a show and tell.
okay.
Okay, so this is our Ignite RE system. It's relatively new and it's proprietary to First American. So we created this whole system from scratch, and that's why it took a while to prepare, like to get it all working. So what we've done that's new is if you were working with First American before, which I think a lot of you guys did have the old platform. Now, if you look at the bottom here, you're gonna have our transactions portal, properties, farming, classes, and calculators. So before they're all separate. So now with one login, you get everything. And the reason why we did this was because there's so much fraud happening. So we wanted to have one sign in for encompassing everything. The reason why I talked about fraud was because through transactions portal, you can upload any sensitive material that is from buyers and sellers into the portal. So you don't have to worry about emails being, emails being intercepted. So what people were doing, well, not people, but what fraudsters were doing is that they would intercept emails going back and forth with escrow to commit wire fraud. And so one of the reasons why we did that is, one of the reasons why we created this platform is so that we can also have transactions within our system. So whenever you're opening anything with First American, if it's tagged to your account, so that means you have to have an account, then everything, like your files will go through the system. So any sensitive material, statement of information, FinCEN forms, they can all be done and uploaded through this system. So are you guys familiar with FinCEN? Okay, so FinCEN is a government regulation. So it's gonna be a lot of information I'm gonna cover today. Good. I'm gonna go from basics and covering a lot of the new laws too. So FinCEN is a new government regulation coming out December the 1st. So it was already around, but there was a lot more regulations. Now, what FinCEN is doing, the government is going to open it up to all cash, all entities in any type of entity. So trust, LLC, S corps, all that stuff, they're gonna have to go through FinCEN. So the reason why FinCEN is sensitive information is that you have social on there, you have all these things that people don't want the public to know about. So with FinCEN or your SIs, you're gonna need the SIs to clear the title. You can always upload it through our transactions portal, and through that, it'll be a secure site to go to upload all your documents. So I'm kind of going over the system. So that's why it's so important to have this transactions portal. Then the other thing is through the transactions portal, another heightened or a new thing that we've also added to protect our homeowners. We have an owner's portal there. So anytime anything gets reported on somebody's property that are insured, we will notify them so that it'll help mitigate with fraud. The reason why is if something gets recorded, we notify you right away so that you can catch it right on time. Because if not, you're not going to find out something got reported to your property until you actually go to escrow or get a refinance done. Because that's the only time you're going to really pull up a prelim. And sometimes you're going to have liens and judgments that you don't even know exist on your property, or worst case, the property got sold without you even knowing, right? Because all it is just one document to transfer the title, right? And so that's why we've come up with this system so that it's an all-encompassing system that's much more secure for your clients and your transaction. So through the transaction portal, there's a lot of benefits going through the system because everything gets uploaded through the cloud, and there's going to be less interceptions on email, wire fraud, any type of money thing that has to go back and forth. That way it's just going to minimize all of that. Then properties, this is property profile. So everybody always pulls a property profile. And I can tell you, because I've been with title for like 20 some years, 23, 24 years, but with First American, 14 of them, our property profiles have so much more detail than other systems. And I can tell you because I've had a client of mine, she's like, Angie, I pulled a property profile from XYZ. How come they can't find that address and they can't find the beds, the bathrooms, etc. And how come your system has it? I said, I don't know why, but I can tell you that First American reinvest a lot of money into our system. So if you look at other property profile systems, the look and feel is gonna feel the same. The reason why is because it is branded with a different branding and the system is the same. It's just a generic system that you can buy. But First Americans, we actually make it on our own and we build it on our own. And we're constantly adding more features to it. So the newest feature was the owner's portal, which is where we're gonna let you know if something happens, something records on their property, we'll let the client know right away, which nobody else has that right now. So the properties,
The notification is automatic?
Yeah.
Really?
yeah, we'll let them know right away if
That's
something
good.
gets reported on their property. Yeah,
That is very good.
yeah. So
Do we have to sign up for it or?
it's only if you have a policy with First American.
Oh.
That's why it's always important to choose a First American. But yeah, if it's a policy with us.
New platform, but the past transaction can be still active?
Is it the system?
Yeah, because you said this is new, right?
It's
But
new for
what is
like
the escrow close like last year, 2 years?
last year, I believe last year is still covered. I think it was anything from April 2024.
For how long, Angie?
Oh, forever.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, once it's closed with us, we'll forever help you monitor your property.
Okay. Mm.
So when your clients call you and say, hey, Angie, I want to get a fraud prevention system on my property or buy a fraud prevention marketing thing for my property, there's no such thing. There's no way to monitor fraud for property. There are ways to monitor fraud for credit cards and stealing your social security and your identity, but there's no way to help prevent fraud from your property. But we can mitigate that problem by telling you right away if something records on your property. So that way you take care of it right away versus not knowing 5, 10, 15, 20 years later, and then your property is already gone. So
Any violations, any recording on your?
anything recorded, yeah. So
The seller,
so glad you love it because I love it.
seller needs to register or we register?
No, so as soon as they have an insurance policy with First American, as foreclosures policies from First American, they will automatically be part of our system. So anybody that we insure, we're protecting them by adding that additional feature to let them know whenever anything records on their property.
Oh,
Yeah, so it's
nothing, no need to be done, right?
nothing you need to be done, yeah. It just has to be First American policy, because there's just the added benefit for working with us. So that's one of the newest features we added. Yeah, I'm really excited about that. Let me see. Okay, so let me go back to properties. So just because you haven't seen this before, I want to go over really quickly because it's really, really useful to pull property profiles through our system. So when you pull it through MRMLS, it's also, I find that there's been some discrepancy and they'll call us. I don't know why, but they call First American to have them look for that property profile. So right now I'm working on a commercial transaction and they're looking for this property profile, but the address isn't coming up. So we're trying to figure out where and why that address isn't coming up. There could be various reasons, but most of the time we do find all the properties. So you see how my system is showing the satellite view? Usually when you first sign on, you're only gonna see it look like that. And the reason why I have it set up the way I do is because I like it this way, because you can see the property lines. You can see if there's solar, you can see if there's a pool. So how you do that is you go to the stack of papers, you click on satellite, and then now you can see the whole property. Now, furthermore, I wanted to add another function. I wanted to add parcels. So now you see the parcels of every property. And the other thing I want to add is ownership label. I always default these three because it makes your system much more user-friendly to look at. So the reason why I like ownership label, which I think we're the only one that has it right now, because I haven't really been able to log in other title company stuff, but I know that back then I used to work for another title company. And I know the look and feel is all the same between all the brands. So let me just type in an address. I don't know, 688. Okay, I'm just gonna pick this one.
Hopefully single family so I can show you. Oops. There we go. So you see how it says owner occupied? So right off the bat, it says owner occupied or non-owner occupied or foreclosure. So the reason why this is showing up here is because I have it defaulted to that, the ownership label. So if I remove that, you see how it's deleted? So I like it on because then you'll know right away if it's owner occupied or non-owner occupied. Previously, in other title companies, what you have to do is you have to look at the mailing address and the site address. If the two addresses are different, then you know that it's absentee owner. But for us, we show you right away. And then let me know, because I don't have my competition's like access. So let me know if something is different or if it's the same, so that I know not to mention it, because then I don't know what the other systems look like. All I know is how my system looks like. So if you do have a system and it does show like the ownership label, let me know so that I know not to mention that we're the only ones that have it, because when we created the system, we were the only ones that had it. So that's new. The other thing that's really new is if you scroll, right here, if you scroll down, if it's a large enough complex, you will have the HOA information. I know we're the only ones that have it right now until our competitors get on the ball, then they'll probably have it too. But right now, if it's a big enough complex, we'll have HOA information, phone numbers, email, contact person, even sometimes how much they pay. But it's dependent on how big the HOA is, right? The other thing that we have is this part here under documents. You can pull up the last finance document and last transfer document. So instead of going through the history for property profiles to see what's the most current owner, you don't have to go through the history. We just automatically will tell you, click here, and then you'll see the last transfer document. I'll show you just to see what it looks like. Hopefully your pop-up blockers are not blocking. If it is, it's not going to pull up, but if your pop-up blockers are not disabled, then it should be able to show up. Yeah. So here's the last transfer document. That's not a very good looking home that I picked in Los Feliz. Sorry about that. I just picked some random house. So here's the document. So this is if you wanted to just get the most recent one.
Oh, okay.
But it's just a shortcut.
Does it show?
Yeah, you have the history.
History.
Yeah. Yeah. We have the history. It's just I wanted to show you a cheat sheet. If you were signing your listing agreement, sometimes you just want to know right away who's the most recent one. So it just makes it quick and easy. So if you do the combined report, so also one more thing, if you hit this function here, you can have a cover page for everything. I have it all on so that you can see the pretty picture of the house. So when you print out the report, it has a cover page. So this is another function here. You open that and then you can add in which reports you want. So if you're working with a buyer, you're gonna want to pretty much click on all of them. If you're working with a seller, they could care less about school, right? Because they're moving out of the house. They could care less about their neighbors. So depending on what it is that you want the report to show, you go to that little toggle, the menu bar, and you click on which reports you want to add in. So I'm going to pretend I'm going to be working with, a seller. So I clicked on these checkboxes because I think that's most pertinent for your sellers. So generate report, and then it's going to generate the report. And then from the site, you can email, print, or text a copy of the report to your clients. And it'll look and feel like it's coming from you because it'll have a cover sheet with your information on it because it'll be through your account.
Does it include a CMA?
Of course. Yes. And our CMAs are really cool because our CMA includes for sale by owner properties. MRMLS does not. Yeah, they only do the recorded,
Right.
yeah. So here's the combined report. Of course, our lovely, beautiful property here with graffiti. And then this is your table of contents. There's a QR code for your clients to look at. When you have time, click on the QR code so you can see all the different videos and material for your clients. And then here you'll see, so this is what I was talking about. See, if the mailing address and the site address were different, then you'll know it's an absentee. But this is owner occupied because remember when we first pulled it up, is it owner occupied? Let me know if I'm talking too fast. Okay. I get really passionate and then just go off. Okay. And then everything here is a hyperlink. So if you need to click on anything, you can pull it up. So just another note, for when you're pulling up deeds from the MRMLS, they charge you we don't charge you. And you can pull up as many properties as you want. So we don't have a limitation. I know other title companies, 'cause I used to work at one, they had like 25 or 15 like maximum, and then you have to call them to open up more credits. For us, you can pull as many as you want. The only thing we ask is just please work with us for title because we're offsetting the costs instead of, you know, having you a maximum, a number that you can pull. We give it to you openly and just hope that you work with us for title.
Sometimes they're too old, like 30 years ago.
Yeah.
Then they have to go through you to get.
If it's really, really old and nobody's asked for it, then we have to actually request it from the county. And I've seen some where, you know, like, different documents, you can't locate it because it's so old that when they made a photocopy of it, it's like really blurry and really hard to read. So sometimes it's, you know, it's gonna look like that. It's just because it's from the archives. This is super old, but we can pull it.
And does it cost?
No. So not only can we just pull the deeds, we can also pull up any permits. So if you guys had a permit request, let us know. I can order it through our third party to pull the permits for us. And then it takes anywhere from 7 to 10 business days. It does take a little bit of time because once we request it with the county, we have to wait for them to send it back to us.
Permit for the city, from the city?
Yeah. So if you need permits, we can pull it.
Also building permit?
Huh?
All building permit?
Yes,
So in
whatever
other
is
words,
available.
if you want to look at the permitted remodeling for the public,
Yeah.
you can actually do that, right?
Yeah, so if there's the permit recorded with the city, we can pull it for you.
Okay.
If it wasn't recorded with the city, then there's no record of it, so I'm not gonna be able to get it.
Right.
So whatever's recorded with
If
the
we
city.
see that the remodeling, it does not have the
Like an
permit,
ADU or something? Yeah.
The report, then you know that it's not permitted.
More than likely, it's not permitted.
Oh,
So,
that's a good feature.
yeah, so I have some clients that even if they're working with a buyer, will take on the hit for the fees, but we'll give you the permits for it. Cause it costs money for every single time we
Yeah,
work.
yeah.
But there's reasons why people like to work with us because we don't penny pitch every little cost over to you guys. And we do what we can to help you along with the transaction, even if you're representing the buyer.
So what is difference between the prelim?
Oh, property profiles and prelims are very, very different. So prelims are a very, very, there's a lot of work that goes into it. Just to get a prelim completed, it costs the company about $450 to $500 to prepare.
Wow.
So property profiles are easy because we're just pulling anything recorded on the property. But for a prelim, there's different divisions, and not different divisions, but like different parts of it that need manpower to do. So there's like the extracting people that extract all the documents and all the data. Then there's searching department. Then they search everything to make sure it's relevant to our property. Then there's another division that does like the, I don't know, pulling up the underlying documents. So there's a lot of different things to get a prelim completed.
So there needs to be more details.
Yes, but you only get that when you're getting a listing prelim. Don't just order because you're working with a buyer, because then what the problem is with that is if you have a buyer and they have their own title, like prelim already, and there's ours, they're two different underwriters. Because each title company has their own underwriters and how they look and take care of a problem is very different. Just like when you're dealing with a lender. One title company will say, yes, we can remove it. The other one say, no, we cannot. So that's why I don't recommend it for your buyers unless they're able to use us to issue the policy. Because ultimately, what are we doing? We're doing insurance, right? So when we're doing an insurance policy, we need to underwrite it, review it, see what we're feel comfortable and the liability is for us to be able to say, okay, I give you a policy. So that's why it's very different. So now with all the ADUs that are happening, the cities are requiring to get a preliminary title report with plotted easements. And because it costs the company so much money to prepare one, and then the clients have questions, we start charging for those prelims because it costs money first. Secondly, they ask a lot of questions after the fact because they want to know about the plotted easements. Oh, where's this? Where's that? What, can we build here? Where's the setbacks? All that stuff is going to be needed, right? So now the company charges for prelims with, underlying documents. So prelims are very good to have when you're dealing with a transaction.
But for basic information, that's where a property profile comes in. We can even search for liens and judgments, but keep in mind, liens and judgments, we only have so much information that we can pull on that because we don't have an SI. So when you're pulling up a preliminary title report, we're only being able to pull like a 70% accurate prelim because we're missing the SI. Without the statement of information, we're not able to pull 100% accuracy, and that's why you buy title insurance so that we can guarantee 100% accuracy. If not, it becomes a claim for us. That's how title insurance works. So that's why, you know, when you're doing a property profile and you're doing a prelim, it's two very, very different things. Property profile is super easy. Type in the ad, it pops it out. Preliminary title report, a lot of manpower, a lot of searching, examining to prepare that report for you. And then we also need the SI to make sure we have a very good report. So I mentioned last time at your team meeting, our data is so good, it also works not in our favor because we pull up everything. And I lost the client because she was upset because there was a home improvement lien on the property. And the homeowner kept saying, no, I didn't pull it, I didn't pull it, I didn't pull it. But it's actually a homeowner, the homeowner wasn't being truthful to the agent. And the agent was mad at me for finding it, but that's my job. My job is to find everything because we need to transfer. Like, why are you mad at me? I told you there is one here. She goes, no, but so anyway, she got in a fight with the homeowner, but the homeowner is not gonna be able to sell it because no matter what, that thing is gonna pop up. And if the title company doesn't see it, guess what? It's gonna be a claim, right? Anyways, at least you guys get it.
Okay, so this is a property profile. And now let's go into farming. So hot, sorry.
Okay, so farming from First American, we have 4 different ways to farm. So there's 2 here that you have options for, and then there's 2 other ones that are not through the system. So one is through me and one is through First American. And then we have Title Toolbox and we have First to Farm. So each of them will pretty much get you what you need, just depending on what you need. So depending on what you guys want to farm for, we have a way to mostly get it. And if there isn't a way for us to get it, that means it's pretty much not possible to get. Because we're the only company that has 4 different ways to pull data. So I brought Rick here today because one of the things I want to talk about is what kind of data do you farm for, right? What's going to yield you the highest probability to get a listing? That's the key to farming. It's not just how it used to be done, like, let's just farm all of Arcadia. Let's just farm all of, Alhambra. That's not going to work anymore. You first, it takes up too much money, right? Secondly, you're just throwing it all out there and trying to see what you're going to get. It's not very efficient. And you need to focus in on what is actually going to lead you to the farm, right? So through our system, you're going to be able to pull up all the ones. I'm going to tell you which ones you should farm for because that's what is being listed most frequently on the MRMA list. So some people like to call it like the 4 or 5 Ds. I just like to call them life events. That's what I've been calling them for 3-4 years now. Some people that listen to me and farm the way I've taught them, they get the listing. Some people want to do it differently. It takes them a little longer. It's okay. So I don't know if you know the statistic or not, but 80% of all homeowners have a mortgage rate of 5% and under. So if they have something 5% and under, they're not going to really want to increase their mortgage payment to maybe double or triple because, right, interest rate is not what it used to be, right? So you don't want to target, that's why you don't want to target everybody. So what you want to target are the people that must do something, the ones that have to do something because they're going through a predicament in life. So what are those, right? What are those life events? If there's a death, right, at the date of the death. So let's just say they've owned the property and all of a sudden the spouse passes away. That's going to trigger it, right? They're going to have to do something. People that have to downsize. They're living in a 3-bedroom, 3-bath house, and it's 1 or 2 people living only. Those are another category that needs to do something. Then you've got the category of people going through divorce. People that can no longer pay. Maybe they have an adjustable. They can no longer change, the adjustables changed, and now they can't pay the mortgage. Then you've got the other guys that perhaps they are investors and they live in a different state. Right? They don't want to deal with California law because it's not favorable to the landlords. Right? So these are all the different categories that you want to target. So I brought Rick here today. Rick's from First American 1031. And he can help you, give you some tips on how to farm. So the list can come from me. So I can pull up everybody that's out of state with an investment property here in California. He's gonna teach you how, really quickly,
Yeah.
well, like 5 to 10 minutes. Teach you how you can use that to your favor when talking to potential clients that want to sell because California is not landlord friendly. So take it away.
Thank you. Yeah, so the example I kind of like to give, like, I have personal experience like my father. So my dad owned a bunch of property. Once COVID hit, he sold everything and moved to Vegas. So you're gonna get a lot of people, actually have a lot of exchanges right now that people are moving out of state. So just remember, if there's an investment property, it yields 2 transactions for you guys: the sale of the relinquished property and the purchase of the replacement property. So there always has to be an exchange, and always has to be another transaction. So you guys are targeting right now, a bunch of target is a lot of older people who now their kids are in college. They don't want to deal with the taxes. They don't want to deal with California, XYZ. They are moving out of state. So that's gonna be a lot of good opportunity for you guys to farm, especially investment property. A lot of people who have had properties for 10, 15, 20 years, they're looking to cash out, they're just done. So you're gonna have a lot of that. We're having a lot of exchanges on that as well. So any questions as far as?
How do you know when they're getting a divorce? I can see downsizing because they
Yeah.
had that mortgage for so long, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so yeah, you have the
What about-
D's, yeah, the divorce, the downsize, diapers, death, yeah, exactly.
But what about a divorce? How do you figure
So-
that out?
We can pull divorce, like people that filed for divorce. That's how we would pull the data. The only caveat with divorces and probates, the reason why I personally don't like them because you're at the mercy of the court. The court, I went through divorce, so I know,
Yeah.
unfortunately. So when you're going through the court system, you have to wait until the court allows, husband or wife to sell their property. And when that happens, then you also have to negotiate who is going to pick the realtor. And that's another court hearing if it's not done that same day. So it's a very, very long and tedious way to get a listing because you're at the mercy of the court. It's forever, like
And
forever.
the husband and wife have to agree.
And you
on
have
each
to
other.
agree.
I've been there.
Yeah, see? So
And I think-
it takes forever. So that's why I don't
So the
I
court
don't
had
like.
to appoint somebody.
It's a point or
Yeah.
somewhere. So sometimes even if the seller wants, the husband wants you or the wife wants you, they might not be able to get you. So even if you target all the divorces, one disadvantage is that you have to go through the court system, it takes forever. Secondly, even if they want to choose you, they may not be able to because the husband and wife have to agree. And if it's a contentious divorce, good luck. They're never gonna agree. Because they're against each other, right? You don't.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Trust each other for letting one person pick. So that's why I personally don't like divorces. Some people love them and I'm like, okay, bless your heart, you go do it. I can give you the data, you do what you need to do, right? So it's not that I can't get you the data, I can get you the data, but I want you to get that listing as soon as possible. The faster you get the listing, the faster I can close it. You and I are happy.
So
Peter's
they
happy.
So they both have to wait for the appointed agent to.
That's why I don't like.
Court, yeah.
Yeah, everything is through the court. So the moment you're talking to a person that wants to sell their property and they say, I'm going through divorce, say, good luck, I'm here for you.
Yeah.
But they're not gonna be able to.
Yours too, yeah.
Yeah, don't spend too much money marketing to them.
Same question, Salah.
Yeah, so the leads that you provide,
Not that's the.
they have an email, phone number and all that, or?
Yeah, that we can provide with email, yeah. Is that an extra
Remember what
cost?
you and I spoke
Yeah.
about? So I do I prospect on absentee sellers,
Okay,
NODs,
Yeah.
Yeah,
deaths,
Yes.
and I do it manually.
Yeah.
Your system, can I just upload a
yes,
CSV file?
Yes.
Just.
Yeah. I'll show you.
Yeah.
I'll show you how.
Better?
Yeah, I'll show you how. So the other one is probate. Take a little bit of time too.
All right.
And then it's not as fast, it's not as long as a divorce, but it's still through the court system. So that's why, for me, favorably, not so much. But up to you guys. I mean, you guys can be pros at whichever category you wanna focus in on. So to answer your question, I'm gonna dive into Title Toolbox. So there's two different systems. For me, I personally like to use that one only because it's easier to navigate. But there's some perks on this one too, which I'll show you. And I'll show you why I like this one for that one specific purpose, okay? So we're gonna go to that one first.
Oh, I think I clicked. Oh, there we go. Okay.
And just really quick too, also if you guys talk to, there's section 121, which is for primary residence. So if you're talking to somebody that's been there for a really long time, because remember, section 121 allows an exclusion if you're married up to 500,000. So if there's gain above that, they'll have to pay taxes on it, or they can do an exchange. So just be aware, and also when you're, if you know, that's when contact Angie, pull a title on it, just so you can see what the base is, so that way you know what you're dealing with. So.
So does everybody know what 1031 does? Saves on taxes, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
We also have reverse 1031 through First American too. So if you want to class on 1031 regular and 1031 reverse,
You can
let
do
us
it.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can do a lunch and learn for that too. So Brandon's on his way, just in case you guys are hungry. He's coming.
Yeah.
With lunch. He's on his way.
Yeah. So yeah, so our fees, if it's below $1 million, it's 1,000. If it's $1 million to 5 million, it's $1,500. Yeah, and we're the QI, so we're the mediator, we take care of everything.
Rick, I think
Do you
Peter
do
had a
the
question.
DST also?
I'm sorry?
DST.
Yes,
DST?
yes, that's the only ones we're pretty much allowing. A lot of people are doing DSTs.
Yeah, what's the advantage?
The advantage of DSTs is like you don't have to identify the property. So once you do an exchange, you have 45 days from when you close to identify the property. The good thing with the DST is you're already buying into a portfolio of real estate that you're already locked in between 5 to 10 years, depends what you are, and you're already getting a return. So it's more of a security no versus if you're having issues trying to scramble or trying to find something with cap. So DST, that's why we're seeing a lot of them.
The trouble is that you have to wait 5 to 10.
That's the flip side, is you're locked in.
Locked in.
Yeah, that's the flip side, so.
How long do you get locked in?
Some of 5 could be 5 to 10 years. It depends on which DST. So,
What is a DST?
Detroit.
Delaware.
Delaware, sorry, the Delaware. That's right, yeah.
Oh,
That's
So, you guys facilitated trust?
okay.
You guys facilitated that?
Yeah. So I just strictly do 1031. I'm part of the First American Exchange Company.
So
We're a division.
So the reason why I brought him in is because whenever things are done through the First American family, things go much more smoothly. So that's why Brandon's here from NHD. He and I use each other's data. So when you open a listing prelim through me, I do a prelim breakdown for you. And then on the prelim breakdown, you'll have estimated taxes. So the estimated taxes is using Brandon's tax estimator. So in the event that clients want to know, oh, what my estimated taxes will be, Brandon will have a tax estimator through our system. So our data goes hand in hand. So sometimes on a prelim, you may not have a lien that he might show up on his end because he's natural hazard exposure. So sometimes that's why when we work together, it makes it a lot easier because all of our system is kind of, it's commingled, all our data is commingled. And when we do 1031, your funds will come out faster too because it's all through the same company. So there's no needing to cross-check anybody within our family. And we have home warranty, which I brought her stuff. That's why I was late because I had to pick them up from her. But her division has all the hangers, door knocking stuff that title division can't do. So that's why I love bringing the First American family because it just makes it so much easier for us to get things done and get the resources that we need to you guys. Because there's so many red tape, but each division has different red tape. So home warranty can provide that stuff, title can't, but title can provide this stuff. And NHD can provide other things that we can't do. So it makes it easier. You know?
Yeah, so
I'm about to get into parties.
exactly what Angie's talking about. So why, obviously on our ends, working for First American, a lot of the NHD companies are just NHD companies, but the power of First American and working with First American, especially on the NHD side, a lot of the data is third party through most companies, but First American, we have our own data. And why that matters is instances like, I'll tell you, the fire hardening defensible space form. If you're filling that out with your clients usually don't know what most of the answers are on that. So have they done certain things to the house to make it more fire resistant? Or where do they go and what fire department is responsible for those inspections every year? What I've seen, and I've gotten a lot of calls about this, is that other companies, when they go to call the numbers that they provide, they're not always accurate, but we have a dedicated team to make sure they're accurate. They're going and they are calling to make sure, okay, if this is for the city of Alhambra, is the city of Alhambra responsible for those fire inspections instead of making you guys do all that work, right? At the end of the day, we do everything to make sure that your job is as easy as possible. So by the time you get to escrow, you have the NHD, your clients filled out the FHDS, you know what's going on with the tax information, you've looked up the prelim. If you're doing an investor and you've talked to Rick about 1031 exchange, these are all things you can take care of before you even get to escrow. And you should, because anything that comes up that is going to make a delay in your escrow, it should not be NHD, title, or a 1031 exchange. So, and then obviously, once you get to escrow is really when you start talking about a warranty. So think about the process and think about when you should be reaching out to us as your team, as the people that are helping you get across the finish line. I always say, we don't do business unless you do business. And really, you don't do business unless we do and help you and get you across that finish line and do all the due diligence with you and your clients. So when it comes to this system, I will tell you, it is one of the best systems I have ever seen of all the title companies and any companies that are providing you with the information to find who's most likely to sell. Right now in this market, the most likely to sell people, think about your expired lists, right? Those are the people who wanted to sell but couldn't sell. Or people who have divorces, people who lost a parent, right? And now they need to sell the house because they need to pay off some debts, things like that. This data is the best data that I've honestly ever seen in the business. So just make sure that you get set up with Angie on the Ignite system. And again, use this as a resource. Call us. If you're going into a listing pitch, if you want to know if it's in a fire zone, before you even order the NHD, call me and say, is it in a fire zone? I'll look it up right there. Then you'll be able to walk into that listing appointment and say, if you haven't sold your house in the last 5 years, let me tell you, it is very different these days, right? Insurance and the disclosure responsibilities that you now have. If that home is in a high or very high severity zone, you have to disclose that it's in the fire zone, but you also have to provide the fire hardening and defensible space form. That is legally required, right? The law that was passed, AB 38, dictates that the seller has to disclose to the buyer that they are responsible for maintaining the property, maintaining and making sure that it's in the fire zone. So make sure that once you guys have done that, again, call us anytime throughout the transaction. Why we pride ourselves on always answering our phone is because when you need our help, we're there for.
I have a question. What's your fee?
If you guys don't know, NHD is the least expensive part of the entire transaction, but it has some of the most value, right? It's $99 with environmental. It's not environmental, it's $75. And that's when it's $1 million transaction, that's pennies, right? It's pennies, but the value it provides you with the tax estimator, with the tax information, being able to help your clients out, it can turn into multiple transactions. So don't forget that. Yep.
Need more water? Did everybody get water?
Yeah. What? Oh, yeah.
Okay, back to your question. Okay, so downloading or uploading a CSV file, right? Okay, so when you go into farming, go into the title toolbox, you hit the farming, because I know everybody already has their own, like they have their list of clients, right? You can always go see this upload button. This is where you would go. You hit upload and you can upload your original file that you're working with. So you would just drag and drop the file here, and then you can have access to our system. So you just drop. Okay, so are you guys confused? So if you guys have a farming that you're already using, like an existing farm, and you want to upload it into our system because you wanted to pull up phone numbers or emails or whatever, you can upload it into our system. From our system, once it's in our system, it'll automatically update the homeowners every 6 months. So you get a fresh farm all the time. You're not gonna have a stale client on, or stale lead in your account. Does that make sense? Yeah, so instead of just saving your file, if you upload it to our system, it'll refresh the homeowners constantly for you.
So are you uploading the address, right?
You're uploading the CSV file.
Just with
Yeah.
the address and the names?
Address, name, pretty much, yeah, I think that's it. And then you can create a farm and label it like Alhambra Farm or whatever.
So then it'll update the homeowners according.
Yes,
right?
as the ownerships change. So it'll be a constant farm, you don't have to like keep downloading and saving it. It'll save by itself. Yeah, does that answer your question? Okay. So that's where you upload it. So now let's just say you upload it and you didn't have phone numbers and emails on it, but you want to get them. Okay, good.
Can you export it out into like this?
Yes, you can too. So I'll show you how to do that. So this is how you upload. Yeah.
So, say like I get the leads
Uh-huh.
from Retron or.
Yeah. Yeah. So you go to,
Could you provide the leads as well?
well, I can provide them too, just depending what you need. So let's just say you have one already that you're working on because you already paid for it or you had it from somewhere else. You go to farming, you go to upload, and then you can upload the CSV farmer and name it whatever you want, drag and drop. Pretty easy. Okay. Now let's just say Harrison was asking if I want to export it out, right? So once you've created your farm and you've saved your farm, it'll always be in your saved farm. So these are some of the stuff that I've saved. So let's just hit this, you hit the little gear or daisy or whatever you want to call it, select. And now it's going to pull up that farm. And here there's only 11 counts. I just did like some random thing. And then from there you see the export. Harrison, that's where you would export it out. So you can export it out as a farm, which would be the CSV. You can export it as a core fact. You know, it'll be formatted to core fact. You can do a Facebook one. So this is where it'll be generated. So it's Facebook friendly. So if you have a Facebook business account, you would upload this file that you saved into your Facebook account so that you can target those surrounding through social media. But you have to have a business Facebook account. Then you can do a custom one. So you can, figure out how you want to change the CSV, and then you can fix that in your Excel. Then you can do their Avery labels. And if you don't want to print your Avery labels, let's say you don't have any, you can export this as a CSV to me. I'll print the labels for you and mail it back to your office or wherever you want me to mail it to. So in case you wanted labels, we could do that too. And then these are the different report formats. So unfortunately, the print marketing, we can't do it yet on this site because of compliance. But in different states, if you have a Ignite RE account, you can actually print. But here you can't for compliance. But I do have like people that I work with that can print for you for relatively inexpensive. But the other system also has it. The one I told you about on the other site, the First to Farm, they have a way that the third party that can actually print them for you through the site. So if you want to know what the two reports look like, this is a number, 5-line report, 6-line report, it's that 11-line report. So when you run it, here, I'll show you 11-line.
What is the print marketing?
So we don't have it in California because of.
You help us with that, what kind of market?
We can't.
Yeah.
So it's there because we're nationwide. So the other states don't have the regulation we do. So California being regulated so heavily, we're not allowed to give that function through that system. But I have print people that I know. So this is what 11-line would be. So if you do a 11-line report, this is what the report would look like. And if you wanted us to like put it together for you, you could send it to me and I could put it together for you. But you have it like this too. The other really cool thing is through your app, you can add in your own notes and it'll be virtual. So as you're door knocking, you can add your notes and then even I think set reminders for you too. So as you do the door knocking, you can add like, oh, this, Mary has like a dog named Scott or something like that. You could like remember it because there's no way you're going to door knock 250. You're going to remember everybody, right? So that's where you put little notes. So that's what the 11-line looks like. Let me move this around. Okay, so now how do you pull up the data, right? So there's a few ways to do it. I'm going to show you the way that I like, because it's the most, for me, the most efficient way. Okay, so let's just say, let me go back to saved farms. So let's just say, let's do this one for example. See Monrovia? So I did Monrovia, next sellers, and this is the report I ran in 2024. But I'll use it as a guinea pig so you can see what I'm talking about. So I'm going to hit select. It's going to pull up the report for me. Once the report pulls up, you'll see here on the corner, it says 243. That's how many leads there are in this Monrovia area for the next seller. So now that you have that whole list, and I would recommend you do this for the target area that you're going to be doing. So once you save it under that city so that you have everybody in that city as your database. And then from there, this is the cheat sheet version. You hit on the green button, next possible leads. So remember the subject that I told you, who to target? You click on that, and in the last 12 months, it'll give you all those things that we talked about. So if you do this every 3 months, you'll get every 3 months who in your target market, your target city, has gotten either a divorce, a death, liens, etc. So you don't have to buy the whole thing at one time.
How much is that?
So like for 3 affidavit deaths, you hit buy. Wait for it to do its magic. And it's gonna pull up and it'll tell you the fee on the bottom. So $1.95. Woohoo, that's gonna break the bank. It's cheaper than a Starbucks coffee that can generate maybe a $20,000 check for you. So this is where you can get for really inexpensive. You do this religiously every 3 months, you're going to be able to get your listings, right? So what I would recommend you doing is if you do the whole, like I did the next sellers from Monrovia, right? It's 243. Maybe every quarter you send it out to them, but every 3 months you look at who's having some problems and you target them even more. Right? Because you know that they're considered a next seller, but on top of that, you're layering another factor in, which means either this one has a, somebody had to file a death. So somebody's passed away. So they must be downsizing, or they're not in a great place, and maybe they don't like the memories and they're going to have to move. Or there's liens on them, meaning now there's a new lien on the property. They're having some payment issues. Maybe it's a good time for them to move and downsize or move somewhere to a different state. So that's one thing you do. And then to answer your question, for now, you wanted to buy phone numbers and emails. The same criteria, these are all your tabs, okay? You will go to Premier Data. So anything under the star or gold tab, there's going to be a fee associated to it. You hit the phones and emails. And then you click, once you open that tab, you click on phones and emails, and then you can click on either purchase both phones and emails or just one or the other. And this is the percentage of accuracy, the 35% for emails and 75% for phone numbers. The caveat is, yeah, they're pretty good. The caveat is it's not scrubbed for do not call. We used to be able to scrub it, but we no longer can because the liability was so high because the constant taking off on the adding themselves on a do not call list. So we can't say that it's all scrubbed, because the moment they take it, they put themselves on a do not call list, we're not fast enough to get it in time. And so it becomes a liability on us if we were saying it's been scrubbed. So we scrub it as much as we can, but we cannot advertise that it's scrubbed. Okay. So let's just say you wanted to buy both phones and emails. Get count. Okay, whoop-de-doo, $2.40. Okay, so it's not going to break the bank, but you're getting the information, right? And you can get it relatively quickly. Let's just say once you buy the list, like pay now, and you buy it, if they can't find the phone or they can't find the email, it'll credit back into your account. So my account is a dummy account, so it's not going to say anything. So it'll go back to your credit balance. So they only charge you for what they can give you. If they can't find it, they'll credit your account back. So you don't have to worry.
Stands per property?
Depending on what lead it is. So 80 cents for affidavit of death. So like if it's a divorce, it might be 70 cents or something like that. So it just depends on, yeah, it depends.
So I wonder, can we disclose this if the client, they get upset and keep asking? How can you get mine?
So it's public record.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't tell
Everything
them
is
I have a
public
title to them that tells you every single bit of information.
for you.
Yeah, yeah.
No, yeah. Okay, so another tip. So when you're dealing with this group of people that are gonna be your potential listings, you cannot go and tell them, I know you're getting divorced, you need me.
Yeah.
Okay, they can shut the door on you, okay? Or I know your loved one passed away, you need me. No, don't do that. You just wanna be at the right place at the right time,
Yep.
okay? Be at the right place at
Provide
the
them
right time.
value when they need it.
Please be,
I'll
you
listen
know,
to you.
kind to people, okay? Be kind to people. It's not just a transaction, it's their life, okay? So come with kindness because the last thing they want to hear is for you to pitch them on a sale.
Yeah.
They don't want to hear that. They're going through a life crisis and you just want to be there at the right time for them, right? Please be with kindness, okay? Because there's a funny story. One of the instructors that was teaching the class, one of the clients pulled up a divorce lead, and they started marketing to them, door knocked them, and said, "Hey, I know you're going through divorce." Guess what he said? Guess who he was talking to? The lady didn't even get served yet. The divorce papers. Okay, so unfortunately, had to find out by a realtor that she was selling the house, that they were gonna sell the house, or they were going through a divorce without even being served yet. So terrible, okay? Terrible. So don't tell them what you know.
Yeah.
You know as your back pocket that this is information privy to you, okay? So it's a terrible story, but it's funny too, but at the same time,
Yeah, people are real sensitive. Remember the NODs back in
Notice
the
the
market crash?
Oh, yeah.
So
Doesn't-
how people like,
Yeah.
so don't try to,
Oh.
yeah, you wanna kill them with kindness, okay? Gentle, okay? Gentle with them. It's part of marketing, right?
And also, you should be shocked when they tell you that they're getting a divorce. Practice your words. Yeah, right. I'm so sorry. Because you may say it all over your face. Well, I already knew. So also think about that. Yeah, your marketing definitely, like we talk about all the time. I mean, a lot of the information that we're providing, use that as your way to get a touch, right? Say, hey, did you see that there's this really cool app out there that tells you when there's an earthquake? Use that. Then the next time you see them, say, I have these really cool things a title provides, or home warranty, or 1031. All the information that we can provide you, use that as your little, hey, I just wanted to let you know about this. And every time you tell them, it's another touch.
Yeah.
And like they say, in most marketing in any industry, it takes 8 to 14 touches to get a lead, right? And so the more you slowly give them information and information of value, that's where you're going to win them over, because you're giving them something that they can use of value, anything, something about the market. Say, hey, in the last 5 years, we've had all these changes. This is what's going on. If they have questions about insurance, all the affiliates use the information we have to give them that information over time. And by probably the third or fourth touch, you may have them say, you know, I'm actually thinking about selling. What should I do? And once you get that conversation, then you step in, talk about the market, and talk about how everything that you're going to provide them is going to help them sell their house for this quickest amount of time at the best price, right? You guys do your pitches all the time, but use our information to slowly drip this information onto them that provides them an understanding of the market or understanding of the real estate transaction. Because if you think about most people, they haven't sold their house in 20 years, right? Most 10, 15, 20, especially people who are raising kids. Once they get to that empty nester stage and they want to sell, usually the neighborhood, like she said about the first to farm, they know that once this house sells, 11 days, this house goes on the market, and you see it all the time. But what happens? How often is the agent the only agent on that whole street? Rarely, right? It's always 1 or 2 agents or 3 agents, or every house has a different agent on each house. That just means that could have been that many more opportunities had you farmed the area where your listing is, you may find out that someone else is thinking about selling, and that's the ultimate, kudos in your back pocket. If you can take 2 listings on the same street, that's huge. And then that makes your farm, right? Because then you're somebody who is selling that neighborhood. And then it helps snowball. And something that I mentioned, don't forget that this time of the year, especially when we get towards the holidays, you're doing holidays with family members, make sure they know that you're a real estate agent. I helped my family sell their house, my parents' house, my sister's in Atlanta with an agent out here. She just happened to live in Atlanta 6 months of the year. And really, she only sold real estate she was more commercial. She ended up getting 5 transactions out of my family because of one conversation at a Thanksgiving party. And she didn't even want to talk to me. Literally. I get it. You guys don't want to always get hounded by affiliates. But because we were talking about Atlanta, because I'm from Atlanta, she lives there half the year. Her dad owned a brokerage here. It turned into 5 transactions for her. Like that's right. None of my family lives there. I'm the sole one. I left and went out on my own.
Oh,
But that's, again, think about this time of the year too as huge opportunity. Going to houses, spending time with family, spending time with neighbors. This is where one conversation could turn into 5, 10 transactions.
So Brandon was talking about the dripping, like the touches. So these are some of the ones that I brought in, that's why I was late. The door hangers, I went to pick these up for you guys, so I have 2 boxes. So if you guys can commit to a farm, I'll give you 1 box and I'll give the other, I have 2. So you guys can use these for your door knocking material. The other thing that we do have is on the title side, legally, I have to talk about things that are somewhat title related. So we have like marketing flyers, they're very beautiful, on like probate, on Prop 19, on FinCEN. I have them on 1031. I have them on how to hold title. Buyers and sellers guide. I have a senior selling guide for senior citizens. I have one on moving with small kids. I have so many materials for you guys. The only caveat is that it has to say First American on it. I can remove my picture off of it and my information because I don't want them calling me. I'm not a realtor. I don't want them to call me, but I want them to call you. But legally, the First American logo has to be on there, and then I can order them for you. The only thing it takes a while to get.
how would I put my information on it?
You can, so this is what stickers.
Yeah.
Sticker business cards, or,
Sticker business.
yeah, or you can sticker business cards or staple your business card on there because they won't have any contact information. It'll just say First American title. That's about it. But you can put all your information on there, or didn't hear from me, you can use PDF. They did not hear from me, but there's ways to get the material that you need. So you have those 8 to 14 touches that we talked about. It's not hard, because I know a lot of agents, they get stuck on one, getting their farm. Then once they get the farm, then they get stuck on what material do we use, right? Yeah, it's great that you have the just sold, just listed, that type of stuff, but more information, the better. The more touches, the better, right? And one other thing, I don't know if you know this about me, but I went to SD for marketing and advertising. Build your own look and feel. So when you're sending material out, it'll always look and feel like it's you. So use the same coloring. Don't keep switching it up. Because you want them to remember you. It's just like you see the golden arches, you know, it's McDonald's. Without having it say McDonald's, right? But have the same idea concept wise. So that the look and feel will always feel like it's you, even though they don't read your name, they know it's yours. Right? So same idea. So we talked about touches. Okay, now I showed you the cheat sheet way to do a quick farm. Right? Now let me show you how to actually build it. You guys want to know how to build it or no? Okay.
Do you have any data on the expired listing?
There's a way to get it. Yeah.
Do you have it though?
I can get it for you. Yeah.
The other place is the MLS.
Yeah,
Agents that I know,
The
they all-
MLS, they don't allow me to do their data.
right.
I
I know people have though.
Huh?
Yeah, I know some people have, but yeah,
Yeah,
You
don't feel like, don't get in trouble, you know?
yeah.
You don't want to get in trouble using the MLS data.
Sure, in the hush.
For
To
expired.
chase after the expired listing.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I know that people like, especially because they get hounded too, because people go through those lists. And
Yeah.
they find out the expired lists and they go through. But just think about, if it's not an expired, or if it isn't expired, you can also go to that neighborhood. Because if that person is selling, just like I said, within 11 days, usually somebody else is thinking about selling. So even if it's not that expired, you're going and you know that this is the property, go around the area and see, is there someone else in that area looking? Because in most cases,
So, do you want me to show you how to build a farm or you want me to show you like some, yeah? Okay. Let me go back to my top. Okay, so let's build a farm. Let's just say you're starting from scratch and you didn't have any saved farms and you wanted to build a farm. Because these were all saved. Remember, I showed you through the saved farms. So how do you build a farm? Hit the farming. There's 3 options here: radius, boundary, and area. So radius is just like a radius. So continue. So radius is, let's just say, let me zoom in a little bit so I can see what I'm doing. You do a pin and then you use a radius like this. So this is a circle, okay? That's circle radius farming, okay? Clear search. Second one is boundary search. So let's just say I want here, here, this block. I'm gonna skip that because it looks like commercial. And you can do a boundary search like that, okay? And then the last one is area search. So area search is pretty much broad, right? So make sure you got California, let's just say LA County, let's say Alhambra. And then you build it out and you go to the next tab over, property characteristics. It defaults to SFR stuff. You can put commercial stuff. So let me just show you what it looks like. You hit the arrow. So every arrow you see build is a way to build out. So you can hit residential and then you get all these options. Okay. So I'm going to just go SFR just to make it easy.
Have commercial as well?
Yeah, I have commercial as well. Let me show you the commercial button. Check it off. So these are all the different commercial stuff we can pull.
Nationwide?
We're nationwide, yes, but I only cover California. So I had another client ask me, hey, how do I change my vesting for a property I have in Texas? All right, Texas, first off, is an attorney state. I can't help you record anything there. They have attorneys to help prepare the documents and do all the stuff. So every state, we have as much data as we can pull, but keep in mind that every state has different regulations and rules. So not everything is going to be found on a proper profile that is in California. So some things California has, some other states that may not have, okay? So you can do commercial and we have you can do industrial, you could do vacant land. I mean, we have a ton of different things to search under. I'm just gonna make it easy and I'm just gonna do single family just for the sake of time.
also think about in other states. So being from Georgia, it takes 3 weeks to get a free.
And you guys,
It does, seriously. 3 weeks.
California is 24 to 48 hours.
Yeah.
If it's commercial, it's usually 7 days.
A lot of states are, because it's attorney states and they're billing per hour or they're at, requesting this stuff, it's a lot slower. We're way faster. This state is pumping out real estate transactions. They still do handshake transactions in Georgia. I'm dead serious. With all the fraud that goes on, you're like, wait, what? You can write down on a napkin and provide that to the attorney,
Huh?
and they will take it as a handshake transaction. So,
Under,
yeah.
commercial.
Oh, here?
So just be mindful of that. If you are trying to help someone sell in another state, the regulations and the ways that the business is done.
I don't know what exempt means.
Yeah.
Even in Northern California, escrow and title are connected.
I don't know.
Only part of the entire country where everything is separated.
I'll have to ask. I don't know what they mean by exempt, but nobody really searches for that.
What, Northern, Brandon?
Huh?
Northern California, title and escrow are connected.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah, a lot of states have title and escrow combined.
Yeah.
Even Northern Cal is title and escrow combined.
Yeah. Colorado is another one that I know of.
Because we're gonna need if the seller is relocating to another state and then they may have
Yep.
questions,
Yep.
for the purchase.
That's why you want to.
And this is why I think there's a lot of value in being involved nationally and knowing people in NAR or doing organizations like ARIA, I'm part of the ARIA board. When you have those transactions, if you can't physically take the time, you can refer that business and get a percentage. think about those things, so.
Yeah.
And then we're nationwide, so if you need like a title and escrow in whatever state, we can get that contact for you guys too. So then now going through the different tabs, you've got property characteristics, which is single family or whatever it is that you're looking for, townhomes, multifamily. Then you got assessment and taxes. I don't play too much here, but you can definitely play with here if you wanted to. Other, I don't play too much in here as well, but custom filters I do. So under the custom filters, this is the 3 that don't cost you any money to pull. So out of states, the one I told you about, where you can tie him in for 1031, but the out of states if homeowners don't live in the state. Next sellers are the people that are considered next sellers based on different algorithms. Okay. Based on like the previous, 6 months in that area that you're pulling, what sold the most. So that's where they would pull the next sellers for you. And then the empty nesters are these are the older guys that need to, downsize. So let's just say we're going to focus on empty nesters in that city of Alhambra with single family residences. So then we would get to count. And if you're not sure what criteria you added, these are all the criteria that you added. Okay. So now we're going to get count. So there's 2,622 homeowners in Alhambra that have a single family residence that have lived there for 30 plus years. That's a lot. A lot of people are going to have to move in Alhambra soon because they're going to have to downsize. Okay. So from here, you can always save the search or save the search or save download view records. If you download view records, you would save the search and then it'll be pulled under your farming saved searches, which takes you back to the first screen that I showed you for the cheat sheet version. Remember when I did the Monrovia, whatever copy? Well, when I did that Monrovia when I saved from Monrovia. So that's where you would save that entire farm in the system. Did I lose anybody there? Good, understand? Okay. So that's how you would build out a farm. So now I wanted to show you really quickly the other system, why I like the first to farm, because on the first to farm, this is the only system that actually has the 27 different algorithms to get you the next sellers, but it's going to be like a small yield. You're only going to get like 25 to 27, but they're good prime ones that will generate your next listings. So once it's pulling up, this is the only one reason I like this other system. It's a little bit more tedious to use. It's not as user friendly, but you can pull up that one it's called the hot list. The other thing I like about this one is that it does have ways to use social media, email campaign, and mail campaign through the same site. But there's a charge to it because for compliance wise, they have third parties associated to it and you can pull it through that. Okay. Still another reason it's a little slower. Why I don't care for this site, but the data is good for certain things.
And they use AI, right?
Yes. So the 27 algorithm is AI based. And they won't give me the secret as to what's part of the AI, like what they use to pull up that data. So it's really good. Supposedly they have a lot of emails and like things like subscriptions that people sign up for, and they gather that data to put them under the 27 algorithm. So like if somebody just moved into the state and like on social media it says they just moved into California, that's one potential algorithm that it could pull from.
In order to use the REI, they have to register with you.
Yeah, so I have to actually grant you access. You can't just go in there and sign up for yourself.
Yeah, do that as soon as possible.
Yeah. Email me your information. Huh?
How do we do it?
Just email me your information. So I need your company name, company address, cell phone number, because there is a 2-factor authentication. The reason why, again, for fraud and all the crazy stuff that's happening, we want to make sure that our site is as secure as possible. That's why we ask for your cell phone. So we'll text you a 2-factor authentication. So if you guys haven't already done so, if you have a Gmail account or any accounts online, make sure you have a 2-factor authentication. You know what that is?
Yeah.
Okay.
I've asked you
Yeah.
to sell your cell phone and then send the code
It's taking so
Yeah.
long here.
and send it to your email or send it to your phone.
You get one.
You want anything you want at least 2-factor authentication.
Like
Yeah.
a CRP, yeah,
I hate 2-factor.
CBC.
I know, it's the most annoying
Oh,
thing
no, I
ever.
I hate it so.
Wait till we get to 3.
Yeah.
Which is figure out 2, and then we're gonna get to 3.
They change our password every, what, 60 days?
60 days.
And I'm
Yeah, and you
like,
can't use the same one, and you can't have a similar.
you can't be the same number,
Yeah.
can't be anywhere close, but there's a reason for that.
Yeah.
Because of how AI is making fraud so commonplace, and how once they get that information, they can get into every one of your accounts. Because if you have the same password for every account,
Which normally we do.
yeah. So you should be doing forgot my password every 30 to 60 days.
Every account.
Which we already
I know,
probably,
that's a lot.
you forgot
Yeah.
your password.
Cause you're going through like
Right,
10 of them that you have, no. Did they add this asterisk? No.
right.
Yeah, yeah, I have like a pad of just passwords for, First American, cause literally like every 60 days. And it has to be completely different, like nowhere near, like, if you started with R. Good luck trying to start it with R or something, no, it has to be like,
The other thing too is the Eagle ID that you use for Angie's stuff is the same Eagle ID used. So once you've created an Eagle ID, it works for our site, it works for Angie's site, pretty much across First American, Eagle ID. I think Home Warranty is the only one that didn't have that system set up. But Rick, I don't know if you guys use Eagle ID. Yeah. So again, the 2 of ours, once you've set up the Eagle ID, it works for both. So any of the information you're getting from our site is the same as theirs.
So I think they might be uploading or doing some refresh on our system because it usually doesn't take this long. It takes long, but not this long. And I've refreshed it twice. Free.
Yeah.
Our system?
So additional.
Yeah.
And
And it's,
yeah.
and it's cost, like, it's a la carte.
Okay.
So it's just for compliance reasons.
Yeah.
So
Sanji said divorce and,
probate,
they're all
notice of
different
default,
costs?
yeah.
Okay.
Affidavit of death,
Okay.
liens, and, then trustee sales.
How about title reports?
Title reports are free.
Okay.
Yeah, those are the property profiles. So
Yeah.
when you say title reports, keep in mind, title reports can mean property profile or prelim. So make sure you say either property profile or prelim.
When
Those are
do
two
we
very
want to put premium?
listing. Moment you
As
get
soon
that
as
listing, you
possible.
call it.
Oh.
And order the NHD as well.
Yeah.
Use,
For buyer?
order both.
Before we open escrow?
Buyers,
Or-
you just get a property profile. Remember, there's 2 different underwriters.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't wanna mix it up, because 1, you're gonna add cost to your buyer, and 2, you're gonna confuse them, because what ABC title can remove, First American may not remove, or vice versa. So it just depends on the underwriter and who's looking at your file, just like loans.
You want to order your prelim as soon as possible.
Yeah.
You don't have to pay for it unless you close escrow
Yeah,
anyway.
yeah,
So might as well order.
yeah,
Oh, prelim.
yeah.
Prelim, yeah.
So it's really important because this is a while back, it doesn't happen as often anymore, but we go into escrow and the escrow officer told the agent, this is not the correct seller. Seller. So much time and money helping them sell this house, and they had the wrong seller the entire time. So talking of that, when you're dealing with a trust, LLCs, S corps, open the prelim right away. Because the trust agreement we'll have to see, because especially if somebody's passed away, we want to make sure who the successor trustee is, right? Or when you're doing an operating agreement, we need to make sure we have the correct people that can actually sell. Even though you have it in an LLC, maybe there's different managing directors and maybe all of them have to sell, maybe one of them has to sell. But you want to know who can actually sign. So it's very, very vital when you see any entity, call us right away so we can get you what needs to be done. So I think they're updating the system, but the next time I'll show you, you can pull up the hot sheet that has 25 to 27 hot leads there. So you can add that to like the next sellers on the other system that I showed you. So I love and hate this one. It's a third-party vendor. We pay them to be able to use their system, but this is what happens. So sometimes when they're upgrading their system, they don't tell us, they just do it when they do it. So I think that's what's happening here, so, but that's the other system.
So whoever haven't registered.
But not the new one.
Yeah, my first name.
My first name doesn't exist anymore, it's gone,
And this is way better.
yeah, we're good.
And also, don't be stalking your exes or anything like that. It's powerful stuff.
You always talk about the wire fraud.
Yes.
That's correct.
Yes,
Just want to share with you guys, be careful. My my past client bought their own investment property in LA. The escrow is in Northern California. And they wanna, the owner was selling it, because they got, foreclosed by the bank. So they wanna close it quick, 7 days.
Yeah.
And then they cannot see the escrow officer office because it's too far in Northern California. And then right before they closed it, I was calling them on Monday, and then on Tuesday, they got the escrow email from the scammer. And then they're telling them to wire the minutes. And exactly whatever the escrow email is, except they changed one thing. You know, escrow with W, right? The S-T, ESCROPT. The email address, they changed it to that one. And then they give a slightly different phone number. So when my client called them, they thought, oh yeah, we need to transfer the wire money. And they transferred because they need to close the 11 days.
No.
They lost 650.
Oh my God. Somebody got.
Candies are so good.
650,000.
They're so good.
And they put it into cryptocurrency immediately.
He's the one who transferred it. And they said that
Thank
they
you so
know
much.
where the money goes, but it goes to a lot of different small accounts in the US and the rest is out of. Wow. So be careful.
Be careful, yeah.
You mentioned about the fee
Yeah,
of
it's not that
$75.
they're doing it themselves.
For the NHD report.
NHD.
Yeah, so,
National Hazard Disclosure.
yep, the natural hazard disclosure.
Oh,
And, you know, like, something that I like to tell people is NHD is unregulated. So most of the companies out there, they're not tied to like a title company, so they don't have the same types of regulations like I have because I work for First American. But the reason why I like working for First American is one, it ties into all these other things. What we can provide you to get you more business. At the end of the day, that's what matters. I mean, when it comes down to for your clients, you want to work with companies that you can trust, that are going to get you the right information and are going to help you to close. So when it comes to the NHD, there are things that we do differently than other companies. One being where the data comes from. So what a property looks like. So some reports will say it's in a high fire zone, where it won't say it's in a high fire zone. Ours, in some cases, ours will, because we have city and local disclosures, where a lot of the companies are just getting state data. So the reason why the state data can differ from the city is because the city has a lot more information. The fire departments are going to each of the properties. They're specifically looking at the parcels and saying, is this at a risk for a fire? And so it may be a city says it's in a high fire zone, but the state says it's not in a high fire zone. Which one supersedes the other? The city supersedes the state because they have the more resources. So when we even look at maps, the maps from CAL FIRE that show all of these cities with the high fire zones that they've expanded, those were all done prior to the fires this year. All the city information, most of those cities have updated those to being this year. And so if you're selling anything in like Hacienda Heights, Roland Heights, anywhere that's in a high fire zone, Glendale, the foothills, anywhere near there, Monterey Park, those are areas that are high fire zones, and the cities will determine whether or not, or even the county will determine this is in a high or very high severity zone where it's not updated with the state information. And so that's where you really want to make sure you're ordering it early. Because if you're the listing agent, think about this, like Angie was talking about with the prelim. You want to find out if it's the seller, so you don't waste your time. You want to make sure that the information that you're getting for the prelim, the liens, judgments are going to help you to close on time. The NHD, you're going to find out if it's in the high fire zone. If it is, then you need to make sure that your sellers fill out that FHDS form. Don't forget, they are supposed to fill it out. I know a lot of agents want to do it for them because the seller doesn't know, or they're elderly, but remember, they have to legally fill it out because if you were to do something wrong on the form and they came back and sued you over it, you would be liable because you filled out the form. If they fill it out and they did it incorrectly, it can just be, I didn't know, it was a mistake, right? It's a lot easier for the client to say, I didn't know this, they helped me, but we incorrectly filled it out. I haven't seen any lawsuits over this, but it doesn't mean that could be happening, right? So when it comes to disclosures, you guys have seen Bob Brand. He's come and spoke or done Zoom. Bob always talks about 90% of lawsuits in real estate transactions are due to improper disclosures. So that's why the NHD really is super important, because making sure that that information is accurate and making sure that you get that on the front end. So by the time you get to escrow, you're not scrambling, trying to get the information. If they have to get the compliance check, it hasn't been done within 6 months, then you have to request that from the fire department. The buyer is not gonna buy unless you take care of that. I've seen that a lot, especially how the market's changed. Because buyers now have a little more leverage, they are now asking the sellers to get those inspections and have that compliance that it was done within the last 6 months. Usually because they don't want to be responsible for trimming up the trees or doing the things that need to be done to make sure it's in compliance. Because they want it free and clear, they want everything ready to go by the time they move in. So if you're getting those listings, just keep that in mind. That it has changed a little bit. We used to be able to just defer everything to the buyer, but now that the market's changed, you may have to take care of it. And you may just do that as your due diligence, right? Get that done before you get to escrow, have that compliance check or compliance from the fire department ready to go. Okay, everything's done. You've checked out the prelim. This is the right buyer or the right seller. All that, once you've done all that ahead of time before escrow, that means once you get to escrow, you're not gonna have to worry about that. So this is why we always say, do that early. By the time you get to escrow, you'll be good. If you're representing the buyer though, think about this too. A lot of agents forget in the RPA to mention what home warranty company, what NHD company. So on the buyer side, you may have an opportunity to request First American for it, right? And you can always try that, you can always request it. But as a good listing agent, always make sure that you have your team put in there. Don't rely on escrow to do it. You are the one who drives the bus. You are the one who, it's your reputation on the line. If you go with, say, a company based on the price, they may be giving you a discount, but it may not give you the right information. And so don't risk that, because your sellers are the ones, or the buyers are the ones paying for it. You want to go with trusted companies. That's why we work with Rick all the time, because when it comes to 1031 exchanges, I don't want to refer anyone to a 1031 company if I don't know if I can trust them, right? Because you're talking millions of dollars in a transaction being put into an account. You want to be able to trust the company that's holding that money.
And same thing, our industry is not regulated.
No.
First, like, we actually guarantee the funds 100%. Yeah, it's scary. Anybody can open up and hold your funds and just go off. It's
How much
crazy.
is your profit?
I'm sorry?
How much is the cost for your tender?
If it's below $1 million, it's 1,000. A million, if it's below $1 million, it's 1,000. If it's $1 million to 5 million, it's 1,500.
What about pasta?
2,500. Yeah. If it's reverse exchange, total price is between $10,000 to $12,000.
And does anyone sell commercial at all?
Yeah, so.
Okay, so on commercial transactions,
Yes.
so we call ours a phase 0. Why we call it a phase 0 is it's all included in the price with the NHD. The NHD cost for the commercial is a little more than a regular residential because there's more information relevant to commercial. Why we call it a phase 0 is there's 17 databases when they do typically a phase 1. A phase 1, they're looking through all historical records on that property. Are there leaking underground storage tanks? Are you going to have to remediate and pull out that underground storage tank? All those types of things using phase 1 and phase 2. This is all you can do pre. And as you all know, a phase 1 and a phase 2 can cost thousands, tens of thousands, heard all the way up to 30, 40,000 for a phase 2. So do all that prior, and it's the same cost as the NHD, right? It's the NHD report, but you're getting all that information ahead of time. Even on residential, the environmental, if your clients are trying to build a pool, they're trying to do stuff, they need to look at the environmental to see, is there a pipeline that goes underneath the property? You can't build a pool, right? So if they were going to go buy that house because they specifically wanted to put a pool in, make sure that they're getting that environmental report and reading through it. And if you ever need help, you want me to walk through with your clients, or we have our geology staff that can literally go line by line, specifically into every single one of the pages of the report to go, and I did the other day. I showed where the leaking underground storage tank was near the property. This was a condo, so not much concern, but it was an auto repair shop. They had it closed. So the EPA had closed it, meaning it was checked, it was good, everything was good to go. If it is open, that means it's being investigated and they're remediating. So whether they're doing phase 2 on it, stuff, that's really what you want to look for in those reports. So anytime you have any questions though, this is what I tell every agent. You don't know something, call us. It's always best to bounce ideas or to ask us, because if you can walk into your listing or you can walk in with your client and you have someone to call, you don't have to know everything. But if you call us, like I had someone literally call me Sunday. I don't always answer on Sundays, but I answered. She was with a client. She had questions. This was on the leaking underground storage tank. I was able to get the information to the client and assure them that this is pretty standard. It shows it's closed. You're good to go. That spoke huge volumes for her. And as an agent, the more you can do that, it's just going to make you look so good, and that no one knows every answer. So the fact that you can come to us and get this information, that's where we're a team, right? It takes all of us to get across the finish line to get your clients, sold or to get them to buy these places. And so use us. We're a resource. All these types of things, like we, as a company, First American, we invest a lot in this. We can provide this stuff to you because we know that all we're asking for in return is for your client to pay for our service. It's not even coming out of your pocket, right? So at the end of the day, it's a win-win for all of us, but use us, because I will tell you this. Angie does a lot of presentations on this. I do a lot of presentations on information about what we can provide. Very rarely do we get hit up on these offers. The biggest ones I get are the fire hardening defensible space, which that is why I'm here. And the second thing is the information on taxes, right? Supplemental tax is a big one. You want to know those payoff amounts. You want to know how much that supplemental bill is. We can't tell you when it's due. That is the tax assessor's office, but we can tell you the amount that is going to be due. That is something super important. If you guys don't know about supplemental taxes, they can be, if the house hasn't been sold in 30, 40 years, that's tens of thousands of dollars in one, potentially one, sometimes they split it up, but one fee or one transaction. And it's usually, once they get the bill, it's usually within 10 days they have to pay it. And so you really want to make sure that your client knows that. You do not want them coming back and saying, I didn't know about this bill. You want to, if you see a supplemental bill, and even if it's not been sold in a year or 5 years, there's still going to be a supplemental bill. It just won't be as much as a house sold in 30 years. But again, make sure you set that expectation with your clients so that you look like a rock star when they have this bill come up. Oh, you told me about this. I appreciate you telling me about this. It wasn't a surprise for me. Anything that's a surprise is typically when people then start to think about getting an attorney and start to think about coming and trying to sue you. So again, set all those expectations up front. Use us as a resource. Call us if you have any questions. There is no dumb question. We are here for you. We're a part of your team to help you get across the finish line.
Well, thank you guys.
Yep. And it's still not.
Yeah, it's still not.
Reverse.
It starts pretty much 1,000.
Oh,
of course. 1,000.
It's my favorite pizza. Costco pizza.
Okay, let me stop the recording.
Who do you guys
Yeah.
usually
Yeah.
changes, do you know, or?
Thank
you, brother. Appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thanks for coming to class. And if you guys need these, let me know.
We can help. Let us know.
And Sandy can send these to you anytime. She's back for the next couple days. She leaves Sunday.